Hello. In this session, I'm going to talk about what you can enter in cells in Excel. But before I do that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about entering data in cells. I'm going to start by just picking any cell, and I'm going to type a number in here, 456. This entry of 456 in cell B5 needs to be confirmed. There are a number of different ways we can do this. We can use the Enter button, and you'll see the active cell moves down one. Going up to 456 again, you can use the Tab button, and you'll see the active cell moves one to the right. Now I'm going to activate the cell again by clicking on F2. This makes it ready for editing, and then I'm going to click on this tick up here, which has a little dialog box saying Enter's popped up below it, and you'll see the active cell remain the same. There are a few other choices as well. We can actually use the arrow key, so 456, I could use the arrow to the left. We'll go back to 456 again. Another option would be to use Shift Tab, or indeed Shift Enter. If you're entering quite a bit of data in Excel, then I'm going to show you a trick that may make this a bit quicker for you. So I'm going to start typing item in cell B5, then I'm going to click Tab, then A, then Tab, then B, and instead of Tab this time, I'm going to hit Enter. And you will see that the active cell moved to just below where the first entry was made, i.e. the cell below item. So just doing this again, using the Tab key and then Enter. And Apple, Tab 1, Tab 2. So I'm just going to leave it there, and I'm going to demonstrate another bit of functionality that's quite useful for navigating your way around data in Excel. So we've got a very small table here, but we might have a table with thousands of lines and many columns. If you want to find your way around that quickly from one corner to another, if you hold your finger on the Control key and click any of the arrows, so down arrow goes to the bottom, right arrow goes to the right, and so on. While we're on the Control key, a couple of other things that are worth noting. Control Home will always take you to cell A1, or Control End will take you to the last used cell. What can you enter in cells in Excel? Firstly, you can enter numbers. That's very straightforward. Then you can enter dates. Dates are actually a special type of number, and we'll come on to them in more detail. Text and formulas. These can be simple calculations to advanced mathematical formulas, and they include Excel's predefined formulas or functions. So what type of data is the output? Almost everything is either going to be a number or text. Types of numbers, well, you're very simple, plain vanilla 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we've got formula and functions. And finally, we've got dates. Most of the time, if it's not a number, your output is going to be text. But it could be formula or, again, functions. So just to enlarge on this, if a formula returns a number, then it's a number. If a formula returns text, then it's defined as text. A third type of possible output are logical values, and these are either true or false. And then we've got errors. So if you enter something in a cell and Excel accepts it, but it can't calculate it, it'll return some kind of error. Just to consolidate what we're talking about in terms of output, let's just show you some examples. So I've set up 3 columns here. In the first column, column B, just literally what you're going to type in from the keyboard. In column D, we've got how Excel displays what you typed. And then in column F, we've got how Excel interprets what you've typed, i.e. what data type is the output. At the moment, column F is full up with number because the default is number, so if a cell is blank, Excel will just interpret that as being the number 0. If we type in any text, we can see in column F, this becomes text. So Excel interprets text as text. And we can see if we type in equals B3, Excel is interpreting that as text. Equals B3 is actually a formula, but the output of it is text, so we get text. Now, if we were to type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we get a number. But it's worth pointing out here that that number aligned to the right of the cell, whereas the text that we typed in before aligned to the left of the cell. And this is default in Excel. You can change it. In the Home tab, you can go up to Alignment and click different alignment options. And you can also change the defaults. So now I'm just going to use some characters and see how Excel interprets them. Apostrophe 1. Now Excel interprets that as text. Put an apostrophe in front of anything, it becomes text. Now I'm just going to type in some of the other special characters followed by a number. For example, exclamation mark 1. Now most of these can be accessed using the Shift key and the numbers towards the top of your keyboard. Most of these will be text, but there are a number of exceptions. For example, the pound sign. That's automatically recognized as a number. However, if you type in the dollar sign, it's recognized as text. Now this will be dependent upon the regional settings. Mine are set up for UK. And then we've got raised to the power of, ampersand, multiplication, open brackets, +1. That's a number. Excel interprets the plus as a numerical operator. Equals and minus, also numbers. But then a comma is text. Decimal point, Excel interprets as numerical. And then down to true and false, these are logical values. Apostrophe in front of true is text. If we type in something that Excel can't compute, we're going to get an error. And again, if we type in 3 bananas, we're going to get a different sort of error. Again, something we'll come back to. Now looking at dates, if you type in MAR, short for March, Excel interprets that as text, but if you give it just a little bit more information and type in MAR 19, it interprets it as a number, and same again. So why does it really matter whether something is text or number? Well, to be honest, a lot of the time it doesn't matter, but as you're starting to process data from different sources, occasionally the format of the data may be other than you expected it to be, and certain formula will then not work and will return error values.